Hey Run Junkies, if you have a race on your calendar, whether it's this coming weekend or even months down the line, preparing for that race day can be a bit of a daunting task. Now recently I did talk quite a bit about this in a recent video, but I want to dive into this topic a little deeper today. In response to a viewer question, let's talk a little bit about how to manage your nutrition and energy in the last 24 to 48 hours before you hit the start line. Now, as I said in this video right here, setting goals and researching your course are great places to start when getting ready for your race day. I also encourage you to take that time during the taper period up to your race to give yourself a little more rest than you might even be used to. I know the taper crazies are a thing, but this is not the time to start that home improvement project. You want to prepare your body and your mind to do your best regardless of your goals. So what exactly do we need to be doing in those last couple of days before race day? One of the toughest things that I think we deal with is the obsession with getting enough sleep before race day. Let's just get this out of the way right now. You're gonna be nervous, you're gonna be anxious, and sleep is going to be elusive. There are so many things to think about for race morning, and those are the things that keep us up the night before. What am I gonna wear? What's the weather gonna do? Where am I gonna park? How are the corrals set up? How many times am I gonna have to go to the bathroom? That's where the planning ahead comes in. Do all of that research ahead of time just to put your mind at ease a little bit. So as far as rest is concerned, do your best to get as much sleep as you can. If you can take a nap in the middle of the day, that's gonna be helpful. Keep off your feet if you can, especially if you have a longer race. Something else to consider is what you're eating in the days leading up to your race. Now, the whole concept of carb loading by eating an enormous pasta dinner in the night before a race is somewhat of a myth. More often than not, that just makes us feel sluggish the next day. So just like everything else with our training, we have to train our digestive systems to manage the food that we give it. For most of us recreational athletes, if we've been eating healthy enough throughout our training cycle, then why would you change that up the night before a race? Why risk it? My point is that you don't. If you've been eating healthy and it's been working for you, don't change it the night before a race. A healthy, well-balanced meal the night before a race should serve you just fine. My personal preference is a light chicken, baked or roasted, along with some roasted or cooked vegetables and maybe even a side of rice. If anything, I would recommend that you are well hydrated before race day, and that goes way back into about a week before the race. Make sure that you're getting enough hydration on board in the full week leading up to race day, and then cut back a little bit, maybe the last 12 hours, so you're not stopping along the way. Last thing, avoid spicy foods the last 24 hours before a race, unless you can manage that. From personal experience, just go with it. The next question is what to eat the morning of the race. Well, if you're used to having a little quick something before you head out for your regular training runs, you don't really have to mix it up all that much. However, if you don't eat much, if at all, before you go out for your training run, that's what I do, then this gets a little trickier. Your body might need a kickstart of fuel before the race. I like to call this topping off the tank. So maybe start with 200 calories or so. That would be a banana, maybe a slice of toast with peanut butter, or even some kind of energy bar. But your best bet is to eat between 90 minutes and 2 hours before race starts, so your body has time to absorb all of the energy it needs to get started on your race. And about 30 minutes out from your race, make sure you sip on a couple of ounces of water just to make sure, again, you're topping off that tank. Many times, and especially for larger races where there are lots and lots of people, we tend to arrive fairly early with a lot of time before the gun goes off. So what do you do with that time besides wait in the porta potty line? Something else that is tough about race day is just waiting for the race to start. You've been training so hard and all you want to do is just get started. You have a lot of nervous energy, maybe you're a little anxious, and it kind of manifests itself in this kind of wiggly feeling. You are unsettled. And I do recommend that for larger races where there are a lot of participants, try to arrive at least an hour ahead of time. This gives you a good buffer in case anything goes wrong. If anything goes awry, you have time to manage it before the race starts. But back to what we do with that time. If we're that nervous energy and kind of frenetic and we don't know what to do with ourselves and we're standing around just waiting for the race to start, we have to manage that without burning ourselves out before the race. This is a great time to do a warm-up, and what kind of warm-up will depend on the distance of the race you're doing and what your goals are for that particular day. For a fast 5K, if you're hoping to PR and do a super fast sprint race, then you might really spend a lot more time in that warm-up. So do some dynamic stretches, dynamic warm-ups, and maybe even do an easy jog for about a mile. So when you hit the start line, your body is primed and ready to go. And that will get you ready for that explosive 5K start. On the other hand, if you're doing a longer distance, like a half marathon or a full marathon, you don't want to burn all of that energy before you even hit the start line. So again, you can still do your dynamic drills and warm-ups, but you might also consider that the first mile or two of your race will also be included in that warm-up time. One of my favorite lines prior to a race start was from a race announcer, and he said, "Stick to what got you here." Just try to stick with what you've been doing throughout your training, and hopefully your race day will fall right into place. This is another way of saying nothing new on race day. It's an old adage, and every veteran runner has a story to tell about why you shouldn't try anything new on race day. And this goes back into the training and preparation for your race. Bring the nutrition you've been training with. Wear something you've worn before at least once and make sure it doesn't chafe. Now it's not the time to change things up. So again, stick to what got you here, and your race day should fall into place. The last 30 to 60 minutes before your race start is a good time to kind of mentally prepare for the race as well. Even though there are announcements going on and music and a lot of people and some excitement and people warming up and stretching and all kinds of crazy things, this might be a good time to start turning your attention inward. Think about the goals. Think about what got you here. Start imagining all of the work you've done up until this point, because now is your victory lap. Declare victory, ease into it, breathe, relax, visualize your course, and celebrate. Look around you. If you're comfortable, introduce yourself to somebody. Strike up a conversation. You are among other runners. This is your tribe. The bottom line is this: while race day preparation can be daunting and overwhelming, it's really not all that different from a regular training day. It's just timed and there are a lot more people around. In fact, it's the attitude that we bring with us that might be the difference between reaching our goals and maybe not so much. So stick to what got you here and have a great time. For those of you towing that start line soon, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope your race day brings you everything you ever wanted. As I said, this is a response to a viewer question, and if you have a question for me that you would like me to address in one of these videos, go ahead and drop that in the comment section down below. Don't forget to leave a like, and please subscribe for more great stuff from Running with Grace. That's it for me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Go find your awesome, and until next time, happy running.